Hi, my name is Judie Vankooiman, and you're watching Life Issues. This month's show is the Aplomb Project. My guests are Danielle Festa and Suzanne Prebluck. Welcome, ladies.
Yeah.
Danielle, what is your professional background?
Sure. So I'm a contemporary artist, and I'm also now an executive director of the Aplomb Project. I also have done freelance design work in the past. But yeah, I've always loved painting people and incorporating fabrics to my pieces. And I've been doing that since I graduated UMass Amherst in 2007.
So you've always basically been an artist.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Always
Did you go to school for it?
I did, yeah. I majored in painting.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. And why did you want to start the Aplomb Project, the purpose?
Yeah. Well, because of her. And we were able to reconnect over her opening up to me about trauma she had been through, which I'll let her expand on. But when she told me, all I wanted to do was focus on what I saw emerging from her was this strength and resilience, and I wanted to capture that in a portrait. And when we did start working together, I was also documenting that on social media, and I was seeing the pride that she had in being able to see herself in that way. And so others started trusting me to capture their strength and resilience and beauty in a portrait.
Okay, great. And what is the mission and objective?
Yeah, so it began with, well, how do I keep doing these paintings and making sure that money is never an issue? I want everybody to end up with their painting on their own wall. That's where it belongs, to remind them on the days that are hard, because they're going to come. And the other incredible thing I noticed was when I brought everyone together for the exhibition, it was like they were longtime friends. And they had this common understanding, even though everybody's traumas were different. And then they expressed, a want to kind of stay connected. So I created an online community to be able to communicate. But then it also evolved into doing expressive arts together. And we do meetups both in person and hybrid online. So we've expanded to be able to do a lot beyond the portraits themselves.
Okay, awesome, great. Suzanne, what is your professional background?
So I started out as a professional equestrian. Started riding when I was 9 and became a trainer, barn manager, and instructor. And I did that until around 2015. All through those years, I raised 3 kids, and I went to school. And in 2015, I graduated with a master's in entrepreneurship. And then I started building a business, and I hit a roadblock. And 2021, I think, through COVID. But I would build a business, not want to market it. Build a business, not want to market it, over and over. It was a pattern of shutdowns until I dealt with my past and my trauma. And now I'm the chief operating officer for a company out of Washington State. We train bank lenders to read tax returns and financial statements. Yeah. So.
And Suzanne, would you like to share your story, please?
Yes. So, to put it bluntly, my father molested me for the first 11 years of my life, almost every day. And when I was around 11, I came to the realization that that's wrong. And I just stepped away and never let it happen again. And put it behind me. I thought in my head, okay, that never happened. I don't ever want to talk about it. It's not something that I will ever share. But reality is eventually your mind makes you share it. So when I was 43, 3 years ago, it bubbled up. The vault just wouldn't stay shut anymore. And one of my daughters said, "What actually happened to you?" And I told her. And from there, and she said, "That was really bad." And that was the first time, I acknowledged, oh yeah, that was really bad. Mm-hmm. And from there, I just had to tell everybody. I called Danielle, I called multiple family members and I told them what had happened to me, and there were young girls in our family, and I felt obligated as well to, make it known and be protective of them. I mean, Danielle has a beautiful daughter as well. And Danielle was my ride or die through a really hard year of, letting go of a lot of a lot of trauma. Yeah.
It's nice to have somebody that
Yes.
close that
Yes.
to have your back.
Someone you can call at midnight. Yeah. Say, I'm not okay tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah.
So thank you for doing that. And Sue, what do you do to find solitude and strength?
So I have my faith, but I also really enjoy being outside. Honestly, it's the simple things of self-care, like taking a bath if I feel like I need to, laying in my bed, like taking 5, shutting the door, light a candle, and just, let my mind rest is what I say. But I love paddleboarding. Even have a paddleboard blog because that's my little passion project. And I'll go around different places around New England and paddleboard and swim and enjoy nature. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good. Danielle, how did you come up with the idea of painting the portraits and the medium you use?
Yeah, so I have experimented with working with textile and oil paintings since my thesis, but I was always fascinated in what we wear and what it says about us. But when it comes to these portraits, and I started with Suzanne, I thought that still carried truth, because when you've been through what many of these people have been through in one way or another, there's that need to want to present themselves in the way that it's their choice. This is the way they want to be seen, and it brings pride, and it brings a feeling of confidence out. And so when we talked about doing a portrait, I didn't have this idea that would be a whole project, but I thought about how different you looked, even over, it was COVID, we couldn't even see each other, but over a screen, I could just see her holding herself differently. So, when we talked about what she might wear, she was like, I don't think I have anything that matches. We call her Suit 2.0, the new version. The first thing we did when we were able to see each other is we went shopping together, and she said, wow, this is a blouse like I wouldn't have felt confident wearing. It was more feminine, and there was embroidery, beautiful gold embroidery in it. So I used gold embroidery into the background, and the abstraction that came into her piece was kind of new for me, but it was actually cathartic for me to be throwing down the ink and this full body just getting angry at the situation, because I wished I could get into a time machine and change things, but I knew I couldn't. But for me, the painting became cathartic, and then for her it was as well. And so I've carried that through, where I use the abstractions and I use the materialization to kind of bring attention to what they want the focus to be.
Can you tell us about this portrait that's closest to you?
Absolutely. So this is Josephine. And we did the photo shoot, and because it's very important to me that I always do the photo shoot in person. So if they can come to me, then that's great. If I go to them, especially if the location is important to them, which in this case it definitely was. So we've got New York City in the background.
Okay.
Josephine has also experienced childhood incest, and she had to leave everything she knew, all the comforts of her family and community, and so she became nomadic for a long time, and she just discovered herself and went around the country, and she had odd jobs, nannying and waiting tables, but enough to live on. But when we did this portrait, this was the first time she had signed a lease in a very long time, and she was feeling like this was home for her. And she's an incredible writer and a poet, and she has her own organization called Incest Aware, and she helps others navigate when oftentimes there's no road map for how to deal with this when it comes up for you, whenever it does, in your 40s and your 30s, and a lot of times people do disassociate for a long time. So she has resources for those going through that, and yeah, so there's this kind of peaceful look on her, like she has arrived and she knows herself now, and it's a beautiful thing. And I was so grateful she trusted me to do this. So this whole thing is on white linen, and then I actually taped it off so I could leave her suit pristine, and then did some pastel, and the buttons are real.
Oh, amazing. And would you like to talk about this one
Sure.
closest to me?
Sure. So this is Lissa, and the painting is called Still Dancing. This one was Welcome Home.
Okay.
So Still Dancing over here is Lissa, and she also has her own nonprofit called Safe Haven Ballet. And I had met up with her just to kind of get to know other people working in the trauma-informed space. So she has a trauma-informed dance company. And she was abused by a director, and it happened on an airplane over international waters and in 3 or 4 different countries. So when you try to take that to court, which she did, it was long and messy, and she's incredible for everybody telling her this was an impossible thing, but she did it, and I'm just so proud of her. And she didn't think she'd be able to dance again because of what she'd been through, and that it would always bring up the triggers. But she had this dream one night where she saw Safe Haven Ballet and a sign, and the idea to open up a dance company where everyone would always feel safe, and herself included. And we've seen her on the stage, and it's just so beautiful to be able to see her get up and do the thing that she loves and not let someone else take that away from her.
Oh, great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And what are all the ways people can participate in this program?
Yeah, absolutely. So on our website, it's theaplombproject.org. People can join our community. So I mentioned we have a community. It's not just people who have been painted. We've got allies. We've got other artists, family members. And so we do meetups all the time, very casual. There's also, if anyone is interested in a portrait, we have an application on the site. And we also have, we give out art kits to survivors. So if you get on there, you can see just, putting your address in, we'll send it out for free. We have some expressive art, a sketchbook with expressive art activities that they can do on their own, because sometimes that's less pressure to just have something that they can do on their own.
So to apply for the portrait, they just fill out the application and
Yep, and I'll be in touch, and then we'll do a Zoom, and we have established an advisory committee to help me decide now when I can paint who. So, we always try to say it's going to happen, but oil paintings are permanent, and it's going to be, on your wall forever, so it does take a little bit longer. It also adds to that getting to know you part, so that they can feel like I'm not a stranger, and we have this kind of relationship time to build, which is really nice.
Cool.
And I know I should also say that on the website, people can donate and support the work we do too.
Right, yeah. And what is the course scholarship, Suzanne?
So the course scholarship is something anyone can apply for. It's 2 months of free art lessons of various styles. Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, and Suzanne, can you please tell us some resources, national and local?
So RAIN is especially close to me because I have called them in the past, and it was an incredible resource in a moment where I really needed to talk to someone right away. So I would definitely recommend calling RAIN if you're ever in an emotional crisis. And then there's also the Child Rescue Coalition, which is doing, I believe, international work. It's a nonprofit based out of the U.S., but they do they rescue children that are victims of a lot of cyber types of activities. Yeah.
So are those resources available on your website?
Yeah, so we do have a resources tab, and it does have an additional list of both Massachusetts and New Hampshire local groups and national groups. Yeah.
And you want to just throw out your website?
Yeah,
Right.
the Aplomb.org.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. And Suzanne, has your family been supportive of?
They actually have, and especially on my father's side of the family. So Danielle, like I said, she was my ride or die. She was somebody I texted all day long, or called, or FaceTimed, and all of this, opening up about everything was during COVID, so we couldn't meet up in person. So we would FaceTime, and we would talk constantly for 6 months, and then we've just become like sisters. We're so close. Yeah. And then her mother is my aunt, who I love dearly. Yep, and she's incredibly supportive and does a lot of the background stuff that I don't have to see with communicating with anybody who's not supportive. Yeah.
And Danielle, you designed a book. Please tell us about that.
Sure. So we at the second year when we were established as a nonprofit, but it was the second exhibition, I thought, wouldn't it be nice to put the 12 portraits that I've done so far into a book, but I'd love to also pair it with poetry. So I did a poetry call, and I knew some very talented poets that offered to help make the selections, and some of the actual survivors did their own poems as well, Sue included. And so we have a beautiful combination of really inspiring poems and the portraits themselves, and also some of the process photos, like when I do photo shoots, and a little bit of the behind the scenes. And we've got the first edition, and we're going to do another edition next year.
Wow. And how can someone purchase a book?
Yeah, so on our website again, theaplombproject.org, there is a shop button, and on there we have the books, and we have T-shirts and some mugs and the sketchbooks I talked about.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good. And you have a special event coming up. Please tell us about that, and what can we expect?
Absolutely. Yeah, so we are bringing the paintings to the Lakeside Inn in Wakefield, Massachusetts, and it's a beautiful venue right on the water. So we'll have the 7 portraits from this year's exhibition there, along with some of the survivors will be there and speaking. It's a really very moving experience to have someone seeing their portrait and the pride that they show being able to talk about it. And it's a very uplifting thing. And I think that was a surprise for me the first time I did the exhibition. Is this going to be heavy because it's about trauma? But actually, no, this is about after the trauma, and about really knowing themselves and being comfortable seeing themselves in this way. And so it's such a beautiful, I know it'll be a beautiful night. And there's information again on the website, theaplombproject.org. First button on the left will get you to be able to register for that. And that'll be a really beautiful night, and I hope that people are able to attend.
People can be a sponsor
Yes.
and or tickets?
Yes, yep.
Okay.
Yep, we
Awesome.
have sponsorship opportunities still available, and the tickets themselves are still on sale. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's
So-
September 20th,
Okay, starting at what time?
6 o'clock to 9 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what, is it a sit-down food thing, or is it?
No, it's going to be cocktail style, but there'll be some a flatbread station and past appetizers. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it should be a nice night.
Yeah. Okay. Any raffles or anything?
Yeah, we'll be doing raffles, and 50-50 raffles that we haven't announced officially yet, but there's some really good Patriots tickets like on the field.
Okay.
And Bruins tickets and a few other really nice baskets.
Oh,
So,
cool.
Yeah, and a painting by one of our board members.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
And a survivor.
Yeah, that's cool. So, Danielle, can anyone volunteer with the Aplomb project?
Yeah, I think the best way to do it would be to email me, Danielle at theaplombproject.org, and we can let you know about different opportunities for our events.
Okay. And would you tell us about a couple more portraits that you have done?
Sure, yeah. So, yeah, here on the book, this is Suzanne's. And Jai, who I was just talking about, who is a board member, I could talk about his piece. He's also a survivor of childhood abuse, but he is an incredible artist, and he is in his own right, and he's someone who had imposter syndrome because he was self-taught, and he learned in a psych ward, actually, of all places, where he was dealing with when his trauma came to surface. And so he is just he's an incredible artist. And I try to pull in a little bit of his styling around him with this, but I went to DC and we did the photo shoot on a bridge here, and it was a meaningful bridge for him. He actually trains disabled rowers along that river, and so his painting is called Hope, and I named it that because he said, as I was painting, he said, "I don't know how you did it, but you found hope in my eyes." Aww. And yeah, so, and then let's see, how about Nubia? Nubia is also in New York City, and she's somebody that had a sibling abuse, and she used Frida Kahlo. So the other thing we do with the portraits is we start with a historical art reference, and it's kind of started as an icebreaker, but it was also a really nice way to kind of decide what styling they want to go for what pose. And so Frida Kahlo is someone that she felt she connected with, that had gone through a lot of physical trauma and emotional abuse in her relationships, but is such a strong and powerful woman. Then so we did the kind of that same pose, but this fabric is in the background for her piece.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and hers is called Thriving.
Oh,
yeah,
very good.
It's hard to choose because I love every connection and every portrait that I do, and
definitely,
it's a really emotional and important thing to me to be, and I'm so honored every time someone trusts me to do it.
Yeah, I commend you on your work.
Thank you.
So, Suzanne, if anyone has any questions, can you please give us your contact info?
Sure, that would be Suzanne at the aplombproject.com. Org. Yes, that would be my email address.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. And Danielle, if someone has more questions, please give us your contact.
Yeah, Danielle at theaplombproject.org.
Okay, great. I'm sorry, but that's all the time that we have. Thank you both for all you do for those in need. I'd love to hear your thoughts and suggestions. Please send them to lifeissuestv@gmail.com. And remember, live each day to the fullest and celebrate life.